Well, it finally happened. Jack Eichel has been traded to the Vegas Golden Knights. That's Shane Kelly and Aaron Ward. I'm David Pagnotta in a bit of a trade edition of Dirty Data here on the fourth period. Now, before we get into the details of the trade, which you've definitely seen by now, let's talk about the Buffalo Sabres. 5-3-1 to start the season, gentlemen. I don't think many people expected this. What gives, Wardo?
Honestly, believe this is Granato giving this team an identity that allows them to play into games and not worrying about keeping up with scoring. They've really focused on defense. They've done a really good job at this. Last year, they were third worst in goals against. This year, they're 12th, a respectable 12th. And the amazing part about this is they're doing this with Craig Anderson and Tokarski. And I mean, I'm not taking shot at the goaltending, but this isn't 1A or 1B. These are basically backup goaltenders. They're giving up sub 2.5 goals a game. Last year, it was 3.44. For the Sabres to be in a game, they basically had to get in a race to score as many goals as possible to be even competitive. And, you look even further into these. So, penalty kill. Last year, they were third worst in the National Hockey League. This year, they're sixth best. I mean, this is a team that's made a drastic improvement on their ability to compete, and that's the key. They've got a coach that's got this team believing in the capacity within that locker room to do something over the long haul of a season and not just hope from game to game. Maybe they'll show up with a performance. Maybe someone will do something special. This is an entire sum of the parts team doing things effectively.
Yeah, Wardo, and the numbers actually back up that the start has been, not a mirage. Like, this has been a league average team across a lot of statistics. They went from 28th last year in puck possession to 14th. They went from second last in expected goals against to 17th. They went from second last in expected goals for to 14th. So all the things you're talking about, the numbers behind them say, yeah, this start has been real. The question that I would have going forward is, everybody thought this team was crap at the start of the season for a reason. And Granato has them playing at the absolute peak of what they can do. But like you said, I mean, these are two goalies who were on the market and available for a reason, because there's a lot of history that says at best they're league average. So yeah, they've improved in a lot of these categories, but how long can they sustain playing the absolute peak of their potential?
And now they're going to get some reinforcements later on. I think they certainly have made peace with the fact that Jack Eichel was no longer going to be part of this team. Now they're going to get somebody slotting into the lineup right away. And Peyton Krebs, a centerman, who's probably projected to be a legit 2C in this league. And then in a couple of months, they'll get Alex Tuck in the lineup. He had off-season shoulder surgery, so he'll be able to contribute from an offensive perspective and a bit of a two-way style too. Gentlemen, what do we think of the return, and what type of impact are Krebs and Tuck going to have on this team moving forward?
Well, I take this big picture. I think that this is a very happy team right now. I mean, not from just the salary cap situation of not having to eat any of Jack Eichel's dollars, but from a locker room perspective, I think maybe the happiest guy here is Granato, that he's got his locker room back, that you don't have media walking in there talking day after day about the Eichel saga, right? This is a team that realizes not only have they gotten themselves to the place, as we mentioned before, of being competitive in the absence of a star player, now you're getting reinforcements. One big piece over time and a younger guy, Krebs, coming in, who can fill a natural void. But the key right now is there's a level of happiness and satisfaction and stability that has not existed in that Buffalo organization, that locker room, or on the ice for a very long time. And so that attitude that Poso has talked about, what they're going to bring game in, game out, is going to be able to continue. And guys have to be playing just with a level of satisfaction that they can move on and just simply focus on the game of hockey. Now, Alex Tuck, for me, I think is a great victory. So everybody's saying, oh, we should have got more than just Alex Tuck. You did, but Alex Tuck is a key component. Let's not forget that Jack Eichel still has to have a surgery, right? So you're giving up an element from your team that's not a certainty. Like, Jack Eichel's not inserting himself in that Vegas lineup and saying, oh, he's going to be a perfect fit. He still has to overcome health hurdles. So there's that unknown that still exists. So what you do have, the known component is Alex Tuck coming back, who is, to me, a really tough guy to defend. And I'll say it from a defenseman's perspective. The hardest guys to defend are the big, tall guys that know how to manage their bodies. They know how to position themselves. They can outmuscle you. Enter into that. He's got a great shot. He's got a hard shot. It's an accurate shot. And his hands, for a big guy, are ridiculous. bring in a young centerman. Everybody would love to have a young centerman. Look at teams around the league. Montreal screaming for some center depth help. I mean, this is an opportunity for Buffalo right now to build around what they already have with guys that will want to be there. Krebs has not really produced in Vegas. 0 points after 9 games. So for a guy, it's a fresh start technically this early in the season. And for Tuck, he's going to take his time to get back and really get an opportunity to see what Buffalo is doing and find his place over time. And I'm sure Buffalo will do a really good job of taking care of his health, clearly, in light of what we're coming off with Eichel. Tuck will get his time to get himself ready.
Yeah, the analytics on Tuck are a little less effusive than what you're saying there, Wardo. He's a good player. He's been playing with incredible players in Mark Stone in Vegas, so I'll be a little curious to see how he transitions from playing with one of the best two-way, if not the best two-way players in hockey to what they have in Buffalo. I don't know where he'll slot in the lineup. Krebs, it's really hard to be a young center in the NHL. He's got a lot of prospect capital behind him, but again, it's another one where we'll have to see. That said, he was playing with William Carrier as his most frequent line mate in Vegas, and for a skill guy, that's especially a young one, that's a lot to ask. So I think getting deployed higher up in the lineup in Buffalo will be good for him. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they moved Tuck at some point. Just looking at where this team is, I don't see a huge amount of value being added in a middle six winger who I think would be a lot better helping a contender lengthen their lineup.
I think you're right. In fact, that Kevin Adams can play this how he wants. You can slow play it and keep a guy in the lineup, or decide come trade deadline. Tuck's not starting the season. His legs won't be burnt out. He'll have, we assume, his health behind him. So a team looking at his past playoff performances may be enamored and might want to bring him in. And to your point, maybe he needs a bigger, better centerman. Maybe he needs to be slotted higher in the lineup. Maybe he ends up in a city that has an opportunity at a cup and wants to take a flyer.
Well, the Sabres don't have to make any rush decisions on that one. He's locked up for the next 4 more seasons. So they've got their time with him. They could slot him in the lineup. Perhaps he's a fit with Krebs. Maybe it's Dylan Cousins. Maybe it's Tage Thompson. They've got some good young talent on this team. Jack Quinn coming up as well. So the Sabres suddenly looking a lot better now that they can put the Jack Eichel situation behind them. Thanks for watching this edition of Dirty Data. A different take now that we can talk about some trade activity. That's Shane Kelly and Aaron Ward. I'm David Pagnotta. We'll talk to you next time.